We're going to talk about using Holganix Bio 800 Plus, the agriculture product, and actually the tree and shrub product as well for growing produce crops. And I'm Dave Stark. There's my email address, and I run the agriculture business for Holganix. So now I'm just going to go through different and show you some pictures and different data. Potatoes. We have a combination here of years of work with commercial growers in Idaho, North Dakota. I've got data I'm not showing you, but I could in Pennsylvania. It's all going to look the same, and also some university studies. What we see in potato is one application right at planting is all we need. And we're seeing great increase, not just in yield in the weight per acre, and that CWT is 100 weight or 100 pound increments, which is what potatoes are measured in, but also marketable yield. And if you're a potato grower, you know exactly what I mean. Potatoes come, of course, in all sizes when you dig them from the ground. The ones that are real small, that are misshapen, get very little on the market. Some of them are sold to make dehydrated flakes, some are fed to cattle, but the big ones that you can make a French fry, a potato chip, or a baked potato out of are worth probably 20-fold more. So marketable yield is the game, and that's what we're doing. We see higher yield, higher marketable yield across different even potato types. We have a lot of growers in North and South Dakota and Montana using our product on edible beans. And this is a picture from North Dakota. The grower decided to try a gallon an acre versus half a gallon at planting. The control is in the middle. With half a gallon, which is our recommendation, the gallon looks a little better. You can see the difference in the root mass too, by the way. But again, return on investment, half a gallon an acre is optimal. You know, $31 an acre more payable yield, higher weight per acre. Again, it cost them $9. These are onions. I don't have yield data. This just came from a grower showing off the roots. You can see the treated one on the left, the root bulb is larger, the onion bulb is larger, and the two checks on the right, the roots are certainly nowhere near as extensive. So cucurbits, cucumber, melon, etc., respond really well to our microbes. This is a commercial field, a picture that was sent to us there on the left. You can see the difference in size of the cucumber. The grower said that he was able to harvest a week earlier, and he said the yields were through the roof. Now, tomatoes on the right, we did 3 years of trials. This is in Indiana, so I wish it was in California, but it's in Indiana. 3 years of trials, 2 to 4 tons an acre higher yield. We also saw less bacterial disease in the fields too. I actually went and helped harvest some of these plots, so I know that how well the product works in the solanaceous plants like tomato, pepper, and potato. Here, though, unlike in potato, where we did one application at planting, like our typical row crop, we did an application before planting. Now, these are transplants, so if you can treat your transplants before you plant them, either a root dip or just water them in the trays, I love that. You're going to use much, much less product. So it's going to save you money, and you get great root coverage, which is what I really want. I want the microbes on the roots. So if you can just water them a day or two before planting with like a 1 to 15 dilution in water, that's your at planting, right before you transplant application. And then depending upon the length of the season, here we did 2 foliar sprays about 4 weeks apart at about a gallon an acre. Again, we want enough water to water it into the ground, so at least 15 gallons an acre of total liquid. These are peppers. These are actually a specialty pepper that's around the St. Augustine, Florida area, datil pepper. They're a hot pepper, and these were all grown through drip irrigation. And here that the grower actually cut his fertilizer in half, and you can see the difference in vigor that the microbes made. And while he didn't share actual yield numbers, he said, you know, he's never had a better crop. Again, I'm showing these because different application flexibility. You can do root dipping, you can go through irrigation, you can go over the top, whatever you're doing with a liquid application, just add us to it. So we want to be as easy to use as possible. Now this is eggplant. This is in Pennsylvania. And you can see, what was treated with the Bio 800 Plus on the right. This was just one application of planting, much better root zone. And you might be able to see this one's, there's flowers. You can't see all of them. The checks are not flowering yet. So we tend to see some earliness in produce. Now this was a large study we did out in California on strawberries. And here we applied it planting and then every month through irrigation. And of course, strawberries, especially in Southern California, are a long season. And over $3,000 an acre higher yield, higher payable yield through using the Holganix. So this is a massive return on investment. The researcher that did this said strawberries in particular really respond to microbes. So if you're going to grow strawberries, use our Bio 800 Plus product. He said he's seen it time and time again how well the berries respond in size, in yield, in earliness, etc. So they get a longer picking season. So here's an example in a high tunnel. So if you happen to be growing produce in a high tunnel, this is one of our grower dealers, and we tend to sell through farmers who then represent us. This particular grower dealer, you can see the variety of crops he grows in his high tunnel. He's told me he's done this for several years. He just does 2 applications, one when he transplants through drip, and then he does another also about a couple weeks later. And he always comments how higher his yield is, the flavor through the roof, and the roots. Like you said, I just pulled the pepper plants and the roots looked like they were trees. And that's the picture he sent me. So grapes, this is a permanent crop. So we're using tree and shrub. So it has different fungi in it. And this is a farm that's in Massachusetts. And you can see over a couple years, 2013, 395 pounds, no Holganix, and look at the yield increase in 14 and 15 there in the upper left-hand corner. Another thing that goes up, and we see this all the time, is the Brix. So the sugars and acids, the soluble solids go up. And we see this generally across the board. It's a healthier plant, it's producing more sugars and acids. They also saw a natural reduction in powdery mildew. Now, again, there's different application programs. I'm not going to go through them. They're on our website, or at the end, again, just send me an email. There's a difference, again, if you are growing organic and you want to try to suppress botrytis or other pathogens versus you're just growing grapes and you can grow conventionally and use other chemicals. Orchards, again, very simple. A couple applications, tree and shrub. We say 2 1/4 gallons and 200 gallons of water. Basically, it's because our jug has 2 1/4 gallons. 1 gallon per 100 gallons of water. A 1:100 dilution works on most trees, whether that's a tree nuts or tree fruit. Then do a couple applications. Make sure the important thing is wet it into the root zone, and even you can wet the lower part of the trunk as well. Now here's a picture of guava in Florida, and this was taken up in a tower. And look at the line in the color between what the grower did with the tree and shrub product of the Bio 800 versus the check. Everything else is identical. And this particular grower did 3 different applications. So I talked about bricks, and you can see that this comes from different customers in the northeastern part of the U.S., how bricks goes up. I wish more people got paid for flavor for produce. That's usually not the game, especially for commercial produce growers. If you're doing something that goes more direct to consumers or different restaurants, I have been told repeatedly, and have experienced myself, the difference in flavor is incredible. And that's no surprise. You know, a healthier plant produces better flavor product. There's also evidence, and it's in the scientific literature, and our customers tell us, we observe it. When you have higher sugar, it's kind of opposite of people. The pyrrhine sucking insects like whiteflies and such don't like the high sugar. So they tend to be repelled from the healthier plant and instead attack the lower sugar, weaker plants. So you see some insect control. And again, we're not a pesticide. This is just healthier plants. So last slide, really, before I close up. There's a lot of things that you can get. Quick roots, for example, is a popular, it's a one bacillus, one bacteria, one fungus that's used in a lot of row crops. We have over 200 bacilli species in trichoderma in our mix. We have humic and fulvic acid, mycorrhizae, sugar, penicillium, Bacillus subtilis, etc. So one could buy a lot of these things piecemeal or just buy our product. They all grow together. So we can produce all of this because, again, it's one batch. These microbes grow together, they cooperate with each other, and that's really important because the science shows when you get a consortium like this that already is cooperative, they actually can survive in the soil and make positive changes because they're able to access more food sources that individually they can't access. They tend to protect and defend each other. So you get the whole consortium in one product. So I threw a lot of information at you, and I'm sorry for that. Again, remember, biodiversity, apply it planting, and then depending on the crop and the return on investment, there may be a couple other applications that will be worth your investment to make. So again, I'm Dave Stark. You can call, text, email.